Thomas Hobbes' Philosophy and Imaginative Parables. Thomas Hobbes' philosophy. Life of man is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. Kevin, an employee at a London-based IT company, felt overwhelmed by the pressures of work. His life perfectly embodied Hobbes's words: solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. The company's demands were high, breaks were rare, and he often arrived home late at night. His work days were filled with a flood of emails, and any mistake led to reprimands from his boss. One day, he was assigned a new project, but it came with a tough schedule and even more pressure. One evening, Kevin vented his frustration to his friend Tom, who listened with a smile. Tom then said, "Your life really is like Hobbes's description. But Kevin, remember, you're the one who keeps choosing this life." Kevin was struck by Tom's words. Kevin decided to reassess his choices, gradually finding a balance between work and personal life. Over time, his life shifted from being solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short to one filled with laughter with friends, a healthier lifestyle, and moments of joy. Kevin realized that, in the end, only he had the power to change his own life. Without fear, there is no need for laws. In a small town in southern England, a new traffic rule was introduced. Traffic lights were removed entirely, leaving drivers to rely on their sense of responsibility. At first, chaos reigned throughout the town. Accidents at intersections increased, and residents were filled with anxiety and fear. However, over time, people began to understand the meaning of Hobbes's words: without fear, there is no need for laws. It was fear that made people drive cautiously and care for others. Yet, some reckless drivers continued to speed, causing accidents. One day, the mayor, George, addressed a town meeting and said, "Shall we bring back the traffic lights or continue without them? Should we conquer our fears or reinstate the rules?" After much discussion, the townspeople decided to bring the lights back. They preferred a society with a sense of security over one without fear. After the traffic lights were restored, the town's traffic situation improved dramatically. People came to appreciate the presence of rules and understood that having them allowed for a safer, more liberated way of living. Just as Hobbes said, without fear, laws may not be necessary, but a bit of fear can bring a sense of security, a lesson the townspeople learned well. In a state of nature, man is a wolf to man. In a London office, Linda was appointed the leader of a new project to develop a popular game, but the team members were self-centered and showed no signs of cooperation. Everyone pushed their own ideas, disregarding Linda's input. As a result, meetings became contentious, and the project stalled. Linda felt deeply the truth of Hobbes's words: man is a wolf to man. One day, Linda gathered the team and said, "If we continue like this, the project will fail. But to succeed, we need to respect and cooperate with each other." She then organized a team-building event. Initially, the members participated reluctantly, but over time, they began to understand each other and build trust. As a result, the project began to progress smoothly, and they successfully launched the game. Linda smiled and said, "Even wolves can become strong when they form a pack." The team learned the importance of leadership and cooperation, celebrating their shared success. Force and fraud are the two cardinal virtues in war. One day, George and Ben, two boys, were engaged in a drone battle in a London park. George's drone was powerful, while Ben's drone countered with clever maneuvers. George tried to overwhelm Ben's drone with brute force, while Ben skillfully dodged George's attacks. However, a momentary lapse allowed George to strike, and Ben lost his drone. Ben sighed, "I guess you can't beat raw power," but George responded, "It wasn't just power, your tactics were impressive too," patting Ben on the shoulder with a smile. Ben smiled back and said, "Next time, I'll be even more cunning." Through their battle, they both learned that strategy was just as important as strength. They gained a newfound respect for each other, turning their rivalry into friendship memories of a summer well spent. Peace is only possible when preparation for war is complete. Alex, an accountant at a large company in London, was tasked with implementing a new accounting system. Having experienced a costly system failure in the past, he approached this task with great caution. He ensured that no bug could go unnoticed by setting up multiple backups and rigorous risk management. His team thought he was overdoing it, with some saying, "Is all this really necessary?" But Alex kept Hobbes's words in mind. On the day of implementation, an unexpected issue caused the system to temporarily shut down. While his team panicked, Alex quickly activated the backup system, resolving the issue smoothly. His team's respect for Alex's thorough preparation grew, and they expressed their gratitude. Alex, with a modest smile, said, "If you want peace, you must always be prepared for war." His team, laughing with him, realized the wisdom in Alex's words, and learned to adopt a more prepared approach to their daily tasks. Ignorance is the most powerful ruler of the world. Martin worked at a local hardware store in London, where he had gained a reputation among his colleagues. His special skill was that he could pretend to know anything. Whether or not he actually knew the details, Martin confidently explained the store's products to customers. Sometimes it was amusing, other times it seemed he could be relied upon. One day, a customer asked Martin a challenging question, and as usual, he made up an answer on the spot. But when the customer skeptically replied, "Really?" and started checking their phone, Martin broke out in a cold sweat. It turned out he was completely wrong, and he had to apologize. From then on, Martin resolved to stop pretending and instead began saying, "I don't know, but let me find out for you." He learned that it's easy to feign ignorance, but true power lies in gaining knowledge. Power is the ability to obtain all means to avoid future danger. James, the captain of an amateur football team in Manchester, had seen his team lose match after match. Determined to win their next game, he imposed a new training regime on his teammates, showing them tactical videos repeatedly. He also studied the opponent's tactics and pinpointed their weaknesses. Seeing James's intensity, the team began to complain, "Isn't this a bit much?" But James replied, "You can never be too prepared. We need every tool to secure our future." On game day, they managed to completely block their opponent's attacks, securing their first victory. After the match, James shyly admitted, "Maybe I did go a bit overboard," but his teammates praised him, saying, "It was your preparation that made this win possible." They learned that thorough preparation and sometimes excessive readiness could lead to success. Human desire has no end. Lisa, a Londoner, always craved the latest smartphones. Each time she upgraded, she vowed, "This will be my last one." But within 6 months, she would be tempted by the next new model. Her friends would remind her, "That phone is more than enough," but she'd respond with, "But this feature is so tempting." One day, she bought the latest foldable phone, but soon after, a newer, more advanced model was announced. Once again, she found herself saying, "I want it," feeling frustrated with herself. Her friend Mary teased, "Lisa, this is exactly what Hobbes meant when he said, 'Human desire has no end.'" Lisa laughed but soon realized the endless loop she was trapped in. Gradually, she began practicing gratitude for what she had. Over time, she found contentment not just in smartphones but in many aspects of her life, freeing herself from the cycle of constant desire. All men are naturally equal. During a training program at a company in London, new hires were given the same sales targets. Despite their varying skills and experiences, the company's policy emphasized that everyone should be treated equally. However, as performance gaps emerged, tensions grew between the top performers and those who struggled. Henry, one of the lower performers, complained, "This kind of equality is unfair," while Emma, a high achiever, shot back, "If you don't put in the effort, it's on you." The training manager, David, stepped in and said, "Hobbes once said, 'All men are naturally equal, but achieving results requires individual effort.'" The new hires reflected on his words and began working harder to improve. As a result, their performance gradually increased, earning them respect within the company. They learned the value of starting from a level playing field, but understood that effort was essential for success.